Well, welcome back to Top Story. 7360300 is always the number, and welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Kelly. Same to you.
Now, I don't mind telling you, we have a full control room right
We
now.
do.
Yeah.
I think we're maxed out.
I think we are. Yeah, we're just about as max as it can get.
That's right.
We have Kelly Knievel, who's the eldest son of Daredevil Evel Knievel.
Mm-hmm.
We have Eddie Braun, who is the stuntman destined to jump across the Snake River Canyon soon. And we have Gary Davis, who's kind of putting all of this on. And you are the former stuntman of the Daredevil. Am I correct? You were Evel Knievel's stunt guy.
Yes, but that was a long time ago. I'm an old guy now.
But you're the stuntman coordinator. You're helping coordinate this jump, correct?
Yeah, I'm helping
yes.
Eddie. Not that it needs a lot of help. Eddie is a stunt coordinator
Right.
in his own right, and but so we work on it together. And then when it comes down to the day when he really has to make the jump, he's got to have his hands full just dealing with the rocket, and I'll make sure everything else is good around him.
Oh, that's good.
Wow. So, Kelly, when your dad attempted to jump the Snake River Canyon, how old were you?
I was 14.
Okay, so you have probably a pretty good memory of it then. It's not from a young child point of view. You remember what happened.
Oh yeah, I remember it well. Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think now that fast forward to today, Eddie Braun rigging up to jump the Snake River Canyon? Just kind of give us your thoughts on that.
Well, I think it's a different world today. There's been my dad left a legacy that inspired people, and Eddie met my dad when he was a little boy, and that's what inspired him to get in the stunt business. And Eddie wants to go out on top and do something really spectacular, and I think he picked the right road. I mean, no one's jumped the canyon in 40 years, and Eddie's come to town and he's put his own money where his mouth is, and he got together the team and found the land. And there's a lot of people around that are going to say, well, I could have done it, and I wish they would have chose me. And well, they've had 40 years to do it. Yeah. So Eddie's the guy with the wherewithal and the skills and the vision, and I mean, he put it together in 6 months, and I think he's doing a great job.
What was it like after the jump? I mean, your dad must have been horribly disappointed. Do you remember that? Like, were you kind of disappointed as a boy? I mean, did you understand, like, wow, it didn't...
No, there was no disappointment at all. My dad, believe me, my dad was the happiest guy on earth to be still on this side of the dirt.
Boy, those are fun words to hear.
I know, Eddie, no worries. No worries.
Yeah, there's not like there's any pressure there.
I know.
Okay. No, and you notice he never geared up to do it again either. He said he'd do it one time, and he did it one time, and he lived through it, and that's all that mattered.
So he said, okay, it wasn't like I was going to try again.
And when people think of Evel Knievel today, I mean, that's what they think of, the guy that attempted to jump the Snake River Canyon. And
I don't agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
Oh, okay.
I think that's just a side note. When people, I know personally for me, when I think of Evel Knievel, I mean, I think of original American badass. He did what he said what he did, whether people agreed or not. He set a bar and he went for it. So that's what I think of when I think of Evel Knievel. I think American original badass. That was the guy that did what he said. The Snake River thing, that's kind of a side note. Okay. That's just my humble opinion,
Yeah. And that's a good one.
I mean, I like to tell people all the time that if my dad would have been born in Poland, I don't think there'd have been an Evel Knievel.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
It really is.
Kelly, let me ask you something. In today's world where everybody's so cynical and everybody's so they throw out ideas and comments, oh yeah, I could have, should have, would have. How many people really actually go and do it? Now, you don't hit a home run unless you're swinging for the fence.
That's true.
Yeah,
Did you ever think you'd be in this position, Eddie?
Oh God, no. Are you kidding me? I mean, it seems like my whole 30+ year career in the business as a professional stunt coordinator, stuntman, has culminated to this moment. I mean, it's like I couldn't even attempt this if I didn't have the background and skills which I've been lucky enough to acquire over the years.
Right.
I wouldn't have had those skills or opportunities if I wasn't inspired by Mr. Knievel, meeting him as a kid. So it like all culminates to this moment.
It really changed your life meeting him, didn't it?
Oh, listen, absolutely. If I
Yeah.
didn't meet him and I didn't enter into the stunt business, I'd probably be in L.A. County Jail somewhere right now.
So when this takes place and you do make it, and then you go back to doing your regular thing in Hollywood, is that going to be kind of a, boy, this is boring now?
No, it's never. Excuse me. It's never boring at work. Let me start out by saying that it's never boring. But it will be. See, that's the thing. I'm not doing this to elevate to something else. It will be the pride of accomplishment, and that's enough for me.
Do you view it like another stunt, like almost that you're coming to it with the planning and engineering of another stunt like you do for movies? So to you, it's kind of like, okay, one more stunt we're really dealing with, but it's a big stunt.
Well, first of all, I refer to it more of an action sequence.
Okay, an action sequence.
It is. But I break it into two halves. There's the technical half that I can be technical, and that's why I have Gary Davis as my stunt coordinator. And there's the emotional half, and I have to kind of separate that, because if I start thinking of the emotion, I mean, I start tearing up just thinking about what
I know you
got
said
the opportunity to do.
You said you got really emotional yesterday, and now you're getting emotional today, like just looking at the rocket.
I'm a wimp at heart. I really am. But no, when I show up there and I look at this rocket and I look at what my hero attempted, and just the fact that I get to attempt it, it's
powerful.
I have to disassociate myself emotionally from it, because I'll just weep like a baby. I'm such a wimp. I mean, where Evel Knievel, that's where we're so different. Evel Knievel was the man. He was a badass. He was to the bone. I'm a wimp to the bone. I really am. I mean, so I have to disassociate myself from it emotionally and just look at it technical. It's an action sequence that just has never been done before.
And Gary, what do you think, being one of the coordinators on this? What do you think about viewing this action sequence?
Well, first of all, although Eddie is easily moved emotionally, he's every bit the badass that he's not claiming to be. Because when we have any big stunt set up in any of our sequences, and it's going to be a tough one, someone that's got to hit something hard or hit something fast, Eddie's the guy I usually call in, and he never weakens at all. He goes for it, and he's going to go for this the same way. We're planning it, like you said. We're technically supported, and I'll keep going over things to make sure everything stays good, but when it comes right down to it, Eddie's the guy we put in the rocket, and Eddie's the guy that's going to push the button.
So yesterday you guys had a static thrust test, right?
Correct.
But we had a few little bumps in the road. Do you want to tell people? Because we were thinking it was happening at 10. So when I got off the air, I thought, it already happened. And then I found out later it didn't. It's happening today at 4. Do you want to explain what happened?
Well, first of all, very much like the movie business. You stand around and wait. One of the things that makes this really complex but not so complex is, and a lot of people don't realize, we're using the same technology, more or less, that Evel used 40 years ago. I mean, we're not coming at this with today's modern carbon fiber and computers. I mean, it would be easy. I mean, we put men on the moon and brought them back.
Right.
It's a lot harder to do when you're using the technologies and the same rocket and design that Evel used 40 years ago. That makes it a little more challenging. I venture to guess, I wonder how many of these X game guys would be where they were now if they used the same equipment that Mr. Knievel used.
Yeah.
That's right.
See, they're all jumping these great distances and these great heights with modern technology.
Has anyone said to you, why aren't you using modern technology?
Well,
are you guys crazy?
A lot of people ask. But then, then it would be a slam dunk. Then it would be easy.
Yeah.
Try doing it with a steam rocket exactly like Mr. Knievel tried 40 years ago. That raises the bar a little bit.
Right.
That's what makes it really tough and challenging. Like I said, let me see half of these X Games guys go do what Mr. Knievel did with a lead brick.
No, that makes it. It's like playing the U.S. Open with a wooden racket now.
Exactly.
He couldn't do it.
And anything short of that would not be an homage to Evel Knievel, and it also wouldn't fulfill the dream that he had.
So what are the improvements in the parachute design? Because I know that was the big difficulty in the last one. Now I guess you got 3 parachutes, and how is that different that it'll function today with how it did back then?
Really? I got 3 parachutes? Show me where they are.
That's what we heard. I don't know. We read that somewhere.
Is that not true?
I don't know that it's not true, but I don't think I have 3 parachutes.
Okay.
I'll ask that question the minute I get out to the site.
All
I
right.
think I have
Gary,
2.
he does have?
Yeah.
Oh, I do?
Here, you want to take the...
You have a drone chute, which they're calling is one of them,
Ah,
and then you have
okay.
2 other chutes. One's your regular chute, one's an emergency chute.
Sure.
There's also 3 ways to activate the chutes. One, Eddie has full control of inside the ship. One, we are doing remotely from the site, and the third one is on a timer. So if any of our other systems fail, I mean, one of them has to work.
Yeah, we would hope.
I know. Don't worry, Eddie. One has, but some people said that Evel like blacked out. Is that true? Like in the beginning and hit it. Did he black out or not black out?
I've heard more things from more people.
I know.
It's easy, but Kelly, let me.
Did your dad black out from the G-force? They said right away.
Oh, first of all, who's they?
Haven't you heard that too? It just happens around. But if it's one of those rumors, you then answer. Yeah, just say
no,
it's not true.
To answer your question, no.
So he didn't.
No, he did not black out at all.
From the G-force. Okay.
No, well, the same malfunction that happened with the test rocket happened with the actual shot, and that the thrust of steam prematurely blew off the canister of the parachute and deployed the parachute actually as soon as the rocket took off.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know in the videos that you see now, you can see it plain as day.
We've scrutinized that film
I'll bet
probably more than the Zapruder Kennedy film. So he was poor Evel was dragging laundry before he even left the realm.
So the technical details of the static thrust test today, you set up a bunch of fancy equipment and it tests to see how much thrust you have and if it burns long enough to get across.
Well, the equipment that we're going to set up will measure and confirm what we already kind of know. So we're just using technology just to dot our I's and cross our T's, because believe me, I do not want to end up on the side of that canyon as a permanent monument here in Twin Falls. So we need to make sure that there's enough thrust to get me across, but not so much thrust I end up in like Jerome County Starbucks somewhere.
Yeah. Kelly, do you think if the chute hadn't come out that your dad would have made it?
Well, the wind was blowing pretty hard that day, so I mean, nobody knows, but it looked like he got about 3/4 of the way across the canyon, and then, I mean, when the wind was blowing, it blew him back. The first 2 rockets went right in the middle of the river, and then on the actual shot, it looked like he got about maybe 3/4 of the way across, and then the wind blew him back, and right where it happened to blow, it wasn't a sheer wall down into the river. There was like a sheer wall that went down and then about 20 feet of riverbank, and he just got blown into the wall and then just toppled over, and just luckily, by the grace of God, ended up in that little 20-foot strip right on the edge of the river, and it's just sheer luck.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. We have Kelly Knievel, we have Eddie Braun, and we have Gary Davis with us, and the camera guy too, filming this for a document. Forgot
Jim
to mention you
and
before.
Steve.
Wait,
Steve,
Jim and Steve. Holy smoke! Well, we'll be right back. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We'll get back to our subject at hand in just a moment, but first I want to say that yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Debbie Sanvey.
Debbie Sanvey, congratulations.
I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I hope so.
And your $100 word of the day for today is bottle.
Bottle.
B-O-T-T-L-E.
Great, hand me one right now.
You'll need a few, Eddie.
You can go to our website at newsradio1310.com, click on word of the day, type in bottle, and if you hear your name tomorrow and you played the word today, then you win $100.
That's so easy.
Yeah, just like that.
You guys have to play word of the day. Do we have a caller?
We don't.
Oh, I thought you were looking over there. Sorry.
No. But we do have Eddie Braun and Kelly Knievel and Gary Davis. We're talking about the upcoming Snake River Canyon jump. We don't know exactly yet when it's going to be. Could be this year. Could be next. That's still kind of up in the air.
Sooner rather than later. I'd like to get it over with.
Yeah, I can.
Is it creating anxiety? Like almost like, okay, let's just do it. Like when you're ready, are you like, okay, ready, let's go?
Creating a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all I think about, And meanwhile, I still have my day job as a stuntman, so I got to think about that too. But no, I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be.
Now, when the day comes, you said that it's just going to be another day at work, and your family isn't even going to be here.
Well, I have to look at this like I look at work. Again, another day. I plan on. I already know my routine in my head. I'm going to hit the local Starbucks, which is great, by the way, here in Twin Falls. They're very welcoming there. I'm going to go to Starbucks, have my coffee, kind of gather my thoughts, and go to work. It's another day at work. If I start thinking of the monumental thing of what I'm trying to attempt to do, I'll just, I'll be I don't know, 12-year-old little girl not wanting to get out of bed.
If your family was here that day, would it be a detriment to your workings that
routine,
day?
I
Your
guess.
routine?
Absolutely. I mean, I just imagine like having my mother at work when I go to work to crash a car or something. It's just I can't concentrate. I'm dealing with my mom or somebody. I can't. No, it's another day at work. It has to be to me.
Now, is your wife, is she concerned at all? I mean, I can't imagine being married to a stuntman because I'd be like a little nervous when you say, okay, goodbye, honey, and then you don't know what's going to happen. But is she worried about this one?
I think anybody that's close to me is kind of worried about it.
I'm worried for you, Eddie.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Let's put the fact, and this is what I have to kind of take out of my mind, is I'm attempting something that no one else has successfully done, for starters. And the only other man to attempt it was my hero,
Yeah.
Evel Knievel. I mean, a lot of
It's pretty
people say
crazy.
coulda, woulda, shoulda, but Evel Knievel said it great. That canyon hasn't moved 1 inch in 40 years,
Right.
and you don't see a long line of guys
That's
attempting
true.
it.
That's true.
Yeah. Years ago, when this happened and Evel Knievel was unsuccessful in jumping, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the event and such. And Kelly, I know you wanted to say something about that.
Well, if you read the papers around here or certain quotes from people, it kind of seems like it's the Hatfields and McCoys. But every single person that I've met in town has been nothing but encouraging, with very positive things to say. And if I go out to a restaurant, literally, I will be sitting at a table, people won't know who I am, and they'll be talking about the jump at the next table. And they're excited about it, and they're really positive about it. And sometimes I just think the things in the paper is it's just politics and people trying to swing things one way or the other to their own advantage. But in reality, everybody I've met, everything I've heard, everyone's all for it, and they're really positive. And I think it's going to be really good for the town, and I think it's going to come off well.
Eddie, go ahead.
Well, yesterday I had a chance to meet some of the local landowners. They came out to kind of see what this rocket and ramp thing looked like. I got to tell you, they were the most welcoming hosts. I mean, I realize I'm a guest here in the community. I'm a guest on their property. And they couldn't be more gracious. They were really like sweetheart gentlemen. I mean, they talked to me, and they, obviously they had questions. We show up to town, it's like the carnival showing up, but they were really, really great. The response has, to me, I mean, there's been a few detractors, but the response has been overwhelmingly. I had a guy thank me that he was able to make his mortgage payment because of the money. By the way, I don't know, most people know that this rocket is local as it gets. It was built here in Twin Falls by Twin Falls people. The ramp, everything is very local. The money spent here has been local. But I had this gentleman thank me because he was able to make his mortgage payment because of a rocket, which was really kind of nice.
You even had a crop duster. Wasn't he going to take pictures of the ramp?
Yeah, but this is a very local event.
Yeah.
The money, I can assure you, well over $1 million has been spent right here in Twin Falls.
Right.
And
I don't think people realize that.
No,
that
I don't
it's
think they
happening.
don't either.
Yeah.
And this kind of economy, well, the guy that was able to make his mortgage payment, he sure realized
Yeah,
it. He thanked
did.
me.
Yeah, that's nice.
So,
Yeah. Well, we'll be right back here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. More coming up about the Snake River Canyon jump. But first, I want to tell you about my good friend Dave Hansen at Canyon Pawn. Is the newest pawn shop in town. And, you go into pawn shops and you've got, it's kind of dirty and kind of stuff all be shoveled on the shelves and stuff, and it's just sometimes not a positive experience. Well, it's just exactly the opposite at Canyon Pond. New store, they just put it in, newly remodeled, clean store. They got stuff on the shelves still in the box. New stuff, camping stuff, woodworking stuff. They got fishing poles. They got tools. They got guns.
Hey,
yeah,
Kelly,
baby, yes.
Do they want a rocket when I'm done?
I wouldn't be surprised. You might, yes.
You can sign it, Eddie.
What is
yeah.
it, Canyon Palm?
Canyon
Canyon
Pond.
Pond.
Yeah,
That's right.
I will go to Canyon Pond possibly afterwards with a rocket, and maybe
There
they
you
give me
go.
some money for it.
There you go. That would be great. Plus, while you're there, you can sign up for a chance to win a Savage 17 HMR with AccuTrigger.
If I knew what that was.
So, okay.
Yeah. Welcome to my world,
Oh,
Eddie.
that's right.
See?
You're from California. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, the land of fruits and nuts.
Well, I'll tell you what. You go to Canyon Pond, and Dave will show it to you. And,
All right, Dave, I'm going to come find you.
There you go. See, Canyon Pond, they're on Shoshone Street, right across from Will's Toyota in the old...
I don't even know what old building it is
Okay.
anymore.
I know.
There's never a new building. It's like 4
Vickers
years
Western
ago.
store
oh,
was
yeah.
there many, many
Like
years ago.
in
But
the
that's how we
70s.
talk around here. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, you go down here to the old Smith place. Well, Smith hasn't owned it for 40
Well, you have
years.
new
but
people
that's
in
just
town.
the way we talk.
Come
I
on.
know.
All right.
I know. I don't know what to say, Jill. That's just the way it is.
All right.
Okay.
Well, if
so,
anyone has any questions for Eddie or Gary or Kelly, they need to call in now.
Yeah, that's right. And we started talking about the static thrust test, but we never really talked about the outcome. What was the issue?
Well, we had basically, for the layman, we had a clogged line, pretty much.
Okay.
That's as basic as it. Because see, they have to explain this to me because I am the layman, just regular guy. They start talking technical terms, I don't get it. It's like, tell me what time it is. Don't tell me how the clock works.
So, Gary, what happened then? Since you're the technical guy, what happened yesterday?
In one of the source lines that delivers water to our tank that's on board the ship, once it starts to get heated up, it is delivered through a very fine orifice, and we got impurities in that line and clogged that orifice up. So we weren't transferring the steam from our boiler outside to the tank inside.
See, that's what I thought it was.
We got some schmutz
All
in
you
the
had
line,
to do
right?
was tell me it was a clogged line, and I knew immediately what
You
that
could have
was.
told me it was a clogged line. That's
Yeah.
enough.
Got a little schmutz in the line, right, Gary? There you go. Yeah, a little schmutz.
We got
There
a
you
call
go.
coming in. 7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly and Jill.
Good morning.
Kyle.
Kelly, Evel Knievel jumped the canyon when I was 13, and I was in Hawaii, and it was a big deal in Hawaii. The publicity that Idaho got should outweigh anything that went wrong. And Evel was an inspiration to a huge generation. I've got a lot of scars to prove it. I think it's just amazing that no one's really done anything like him ever. And if Eddie pulls this off, it'll be the first time that anybody's done anything similar to him. I mean, all the jumps he's ever done has been on a huge motorcycle. I mean, this guy's jumping stuff now with a 125-pound bike with 14 inches of travel.
Kyle, I'd like to sponsor you for mayor.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Now, you need to
compared to what's
comment on it.
going
You've
on.
just been nominated for mayor by Kelly
Kyle,
Knievel. What do you
watch
think
out.
about that?
I'm not sure I can vote for you, Kyle.
Well, me and you would have problems, Jill. I
Yeah, we
know.
might have a little
Hey,
bit.
hey, Kyle, this is Eddie. You tell me you're a Republican, you got my vote.
Are you
yeah.
kidding? Who is it on this station?
I'm a conservative. But anyway, I think this can be an inspiration to a lot of people. I mean, Evel Knievel inspired me to think outside the box, build my own stuff, build my own ramps, build my own bikes, motorcycles, everything else. People don't do that anymore. They just don't.
If they do, they get a reality show on TV.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Actually, he kind of spurred something that I want to ask. There's a huge possibility, and maybe you might have already have done this in your career. You may have inspired some young boy or girl who came up to you and you shook their hand, and they might be following you in your footsteps, and you don't even know it.
I would recommend that I inspire them to go find a real job and do something meaningful instead of running into walls for a living. That's what I'd hope to inspire them.
Not really.
If you had to do
Not
it again,
really.
do you think you would take this route?
For me personally,
Yeah.
I absolutely would have taken the same route. I've lived, for me, a life that I'm very, at the end of the day, I'll go out of this world very content and
yeah.
happy.
So you're happy
That's
with
for
it.
me. But,
yeah.
I'm a guy that just got out of high school, That's it.
Eddie Braun, Kelly Knievel, and Gary Davis are our guests here this morning on Top Story. When we come back, want to ask you about the sponsor, the broadcaster that everybody seems to think you need. So we'll talk about that when we come back. And we are back. 736-0300 is the number to call here. We got Eddie Braun. We got Kelly Knievel. We got Gary Davis. We kind of have the all-star team when it comes to
Not the
motorcycle
JV
jumping,
team.
rocket jumping. That's right.
We
Not
got the
JV
all-star team.
We've got the A-team, ladies
I
and
know.
gentlemen. Right
I'd
here
actually say
in
a
our
merry
studio.
band of misfits, actually.
Yeah, but you're underestimating yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
Being
you
humble.
are truly an inspiration to what America is. I mean, going out there, taking chances. Yeah, you might get hurt, but that's what America is. And with the attitude we have in society today, oh my gosh, somebody might go out there and get hurt. We better pass a law against it. And
Okay,
that just pisses me off to no
don't
end.
start
So
him
now
on
we've got
this
Eddie Braun,
tangent.
ladies
It's
and
about
gentlemen.
these
Well,
guys.
We've got
Calm
Eddie
down.
Braun. We've got the guy who's
Okay.
going to jump the Snake River Canyon in a rocket for
Well,
crying out
at
loud.
least I'm going to attempt it.
There you
There's
go.
a difference.
Yeah, well,
It's hard to talk about something I haven't even done yet, but the attempt will be there.
Sure, absolutely.
But when you
Now-
look at, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I wanted to talk about, there seems to be some talk about, well, you got to have a broadcaster to chip in and buy this to make it happen. But that's not the case.
No, that is absolutely not the case. I mean, of course we would like a broadcaster. Of course we would like all of that stuff. But we're not out there, if they don't come aboard, as far as I'm concerned, it's their loss. We're doing this either way. We're doing a documentary out of it, and we'll have something for posterity. I mean, something that, like I said, to me, self-satisfaction, that's enough. That I actually accomplished my dream.
Yeah.
A lot of people have dreams. Not many people act on them.
Yeah,
Wow.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
So for me, just doing it is enough.
Yeah.
Whether it's broadcast or it's us, bunch of misfits there on the cliff. Hey, we shot a rocket across. We did it.
And Kelly, it's really not needed anyways. I know you wanted to make some comments about.
Well, this is where I have to jump in. The first time Eddie called me, I've had every Tom, Dick, Harry, and clown call me that claims they're going to go over the Snake River Canyon. So the first call I got from Eddie, of course, I almost hung up on him. And
You almost? I think you did, right?
within the
Listen.
first 10 seconds, like, oh, here's another guy that claims he's going to go over the Snake River Canyon. So anyway, Eddie flew into Las Vegas and met me, and we sat down and talked. And I found him to be a very sincere guy with the wherewithal to make it all happen. So first thing he says to me, he says, hey, look, I don't care if there's just the three of us out there, me, you, and Truax. I'm going over the canyon. And I looked at him, I said, well, what a dumb son of a bitch you are. My dad did not break his bones and spill his blood for free, and neither should you, my man. But, his heart's in the right place. And it's any guy that has that attitude that's going to do that is really the only guy that's serious enough
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly, I think
to make it happen.
Your dad left me the perfect say. He says, you got to be willing to jump a can for nothing before you'll do it for anything. Those were your dad's words.
It was.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
well,
I remember
ultimately,
reading
Evel
that.
Knievel said that. He says, you have to be willing to jump a canyon for nothing before you'll do it for anything.
But then I think he figured out it's better to make some money off of it, or at least get your money back.
Well, if not, I can assure you, I'll go see the guy at Canyon Pawn Shop.
Yeah,
there you
Kelly
go, Canyon
I'll
Pond.
be seeing him pretty
You
quickly.
can sell your rocket parts. So, Kelly, what did you think about Scott Truax having the exact plans and recreating the exact rocket? Did you know about that prior to Eddie getting involved?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of the story. It's a wonderful part of the story that Scott's doing something that he believes in that makes him feel good, and I mean, I think it's a really neat part of the story.
It's pure.
Yeah.
It's pure. You can't go wrong when your motives are pure, and you can't go wrong. Even
Right.
if you don't exactly get the outcome you expect, if your motives are pure, who can argue that? And Scott Truax,
Oh, I know.
he said, bless his heart, Scott
I
Truax,
know.
what a gentleman. He
He's
said,
a
I
good
would
guy.
do this for nothing. I
Yeah.
said, good, because you may
'Cause he
have
is.
to.
Yeah. He's working his
Well,
butt off.
Oh, yeah.
And to use the technology of the day, I think, is important because when Lindbergh flew the Atlantic in the Spirit of St. Louis, that was a big deal. To fly it today with a new technology, it's nothing.
It's funny you brought up Charles Lindbergh, because I thought I got to name this rocket. I certainly don't want Eddie Braun splashed across the side of it, because it's not about that. And I thought about that, and I read some of Charles Lindbergh's writings. I thought, you know what? I'm doing this in the spirit of evil. My rocket, it's the evil spirit.
Oh.
That's what it's named. That's what it's called. It's
Very
the
cool.
evil spirit.
So did we break that first right here, right now? Or has that kind of been a known thing?
Well, I've kind of told the people at Starbucks, because I thought of it while sitting at Starbucks
Can't
getting a
believe
cup of coffee.
they had breaking news before us. We're gonna have to show up at Starbucks tomorrow.
And I'm getting looks. I have a silent guy over there, my executive
Steve,
producer.
would you like to say something?
My executive producer and my partner from day one, Steve Golubiowski. He's quietly looking over there at me, but.
In case you guys haven't noticed, we're trying to get Starbucks as a sponsor.
Well, hey, whether Starbucks
a rocket shot.
I'll tell you
there
what.
You go, a rocket shot.
Whether Starbucks is on board or not, I can unequivocally say that they have fueled me personally every morning to even come up with this wild ass idea.
Well, we're running out of time, so right now we don't have a date yet, but you'll keep us informed, right?
Yeah, I'll let you know when I know.
Okay.
How's that? I mean, we'll be ready.
Yeah.
That's part of this whole process. We will be 100% ready to fire that rocket off. We'll make the determination whether a broadcaster comes on board or not. It'll be cool either way. I think it'll be something that I think everybody will be proud of at the end of I've said that from day one.
And where can they follow you on Facebook? Is it Return to Snake River?
You can either go
Eddie
to Return.
Braun?
You can either go to Return to Snake River, or you can go to Eddie Braun. My stupid little Facebook page. It's like my
not
diary.
stupid. It's great.
That's my brain.
We are out of time. I want to thank Eddie Braun, Gary Davis, and Kelly Knievel for being our special guests here today on Top Story. And I tell you what, we're praying for you and we're pulling for you.
Thank you. And I want to thank
you.
all of Twin Falls for having me. Thank you for having me.
And
Thanks,
here's
you guys.
the
Best of
Huckabee
luck.
Report. And you can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563. You know what? Our guests are still here. We got a couple more.
We locked the door. We didn't let them leave.
We got a couple more things to say. Yeah, but I wanted to tell you a new way of irrigating your farmland, and that's with Certiset. These are flexible pipes that go out in your field when you need to go out of your field to do something. You have a attachment on your equipment that picks up the pipe, lays it over the equipment, and right out the back. You don't even have to move pipe anymore. You don't have to spray around the field so that there's no weeds, so that it makes room for the pipe. It saves time and it saves money, and it's the new technology of the future. Get a hold of them at Far More of Idaho. They can fill you in on this. They know a lot more about it than I do. The number is 324-3341 or online at farmoreofidaho.com. All right, Kelly, you wanted to plug a documentary coming up. Was that what it was?
No, not just any documentary. We've been working on this for 2 years. It's the only documentary the family's ever been involved in. It's on Spike. It's 90 minutes. It's tomorrow night, Wednesday, September 10th at 9 p.m. It's going to tell the whole Evel Knievel story. It's called I Am Evel Knievel, and there's a big segment on there in the documentary about the Snake River Canyon jump. It's going to be it's the best thing I've ever seen done on my dad.
Kelly,
Very
and it's
cool.
9 Mountain Time, right? Our time.
9 o'clock Spike Mountain Time.
Okay, great.
All right, very
Tomorrow night, the 10th.
good. And Eddie, you had an interesting text that you got on your phone just now.
Well, yeah, I got it was very sweet. I got a text from Charlie Sheen, who's been keeping up with all of this, and he's a dear friend of 30 years, and he just texted me and said, "Great job, everybody's finally hearing about it," and that's a whole nother story. Charlie's been supportive from day one. I actually tried talking me out of it and tried to pay me to not do it, but bless his heart. Anyway, so he's been listening and keeping up with all this too. So Charlie, thank you for your note of support there.
And you've been a stuntman for like 30 years, right? You've
Yeah,
done a lot
I've
of
doubled
stunts for him.
Charlie
Yeah.
for many, many years, and he's just, bless him, he's a sweetheart of a man, and he just sent me that text you guys
Fun.
saw
Wasn't
while
that
we're on the
nice?
show.
I had no idea Charlie could listen to us.
So
Although he
Hey,
can.
listen, it's Charlie Sheen. He can.
Charlie.
Do
Hey,
people
buddy.
mistake you for him when you're walking down the street? Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
No, Charlie is a one and much like Evel Knievel, he's a one and only.
All right, well, gentlemen, it's really been fun. We appreciate you coming in. I'm sure we'll do many more of these before the jump.
Yes,
Hopefully
we wish
you'll
you
be
well.
there to.
All right.
Yeah, the original
right.
caller
Make the
of the
call on the show.
event.
All
yeah.
right, wouldn't miss it. All
Yeah.
right, thank you. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll have the State of the City, and I think a whole bunch of other stuff, too. So we'll see you then. Have a great day. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.